Hi, I'm Amy Stasiewicz, and welcome to The Minutes. Thanks for listening today. It's great to have you along on The Minutes. This is a City of Thunder Bay podcast. You can find The Minutes wherever you get your podcasts, including our YouTube channel and our website, thunderbay.ca/theminutes. If you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening at City Hall, hit that subscribe button. The Minutes takes a look at what happened at City Council and standing committee meetings. But this week, we've got a special edition of the show, where we'll be taking a closer look at the ins and outs of Superior North EMS. None of us ever want to make that call, 911, but when an emergency happens, it's reassuring to know there are highly trained professionals ready to step in and help. Every single day, they're out in our community and region saving lives. When you need them most, they'll be there. In a medical emergency, a call to 911 means paramedics from Superior North EMS are on their way. Today, I'm joined by Shane Muir, Chief of Superior North EMS. Hi, Shane. Thanks for taking time to chat with me today.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so first off, can you explain a bit about your time at Superior North EMS?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to. So for me, I actually started in the district. So Superior North EMS is probably one of those areas of the city of Thunder Bay that actually spans the entire district of Thunder Bay. So when I first started as a paramedic, I started out there and I worked pretty much every station that we have, bounced around as a part-timer until I took a full-time, and then bid on a job in the city and became part-time again, all over again, and worked my way up through the city. And then from there, I moved into management. During COVID-19, I ran a task force as a task force commander, and then started in community paramedicine as a superintendent, and then moved into operations again as a commander, and then eventually into the chief position.
Okay, so you mentioned you were in the district before, so maybe some people don't actually realize this. So what area does Superior North EMS cover?
So we actually span a large district, almost 103,000 square kilometers, which is really like, you look at a European country and it's pretty much that size. So it's a very vast area. So we cover halfway to Ignace, and then we do all of Greenstone up into past Nakina and some of the roads up there into the north, as well as Long Lac and Geraldton, and halfway to the Hearst catchment area there, as well as on the North Shore. We go all the way to Marathon, and that's our farthest station, and then again up into Manitouwadge if you go off the highway. So it's a vast region, a lot of distance to cover, and multiple stations and hospitals and everything else that we service. Yeah,
there's so many communities and and they're all so spread out.
Yeah, it's 13 different municipalities, 12 First Nations communities. It's a big area.
Yeah, wow. So how many ambulances are there, I guess, across the region? And how often does an ambulance actually need to be replaced?
So we have about 57 different vehicles. That makes up of 45-ish ambulances. They're always in continuous rotation. We have a number of PRUs, so paramedic response units. So they're more like an SUV type vehicle where a single responder would go out or a superintendent. And then there's a couple admin vehicles just for general traveling around. But we replace those vehicles on a cycle anywhere from 5 to 8 years, depending on how much they're used, where they were stationed. The vehicles in the city get a few more kilometers sometimes than the ones in the district. So we might have to rotate them a little bit sooner because they get going 24/7 and they're very well used.
Right. Yeah. I can't imagine those being cheap either.
No, the prices of ambulances have kind of doubled in the last couple of years. So it's really affected our budgets. It's been hard to keep up. Price of medical equipment's just going up across the board. So it's a realistic challenge that we face every day is the cost of things and purchasing those vehicles. And not only that, but the lead times. You put in an order in, you might not get that vehicle for 2.5 years because that's how long it's taken to build them right now. So we have to plan ahead. And that's something that we haven't had to do in the past. Usually it was a really quick turnaround to get those vehicles, but that's no longer the case.
Wow, 2 years. That's crazy. Okay, so how many paramedics ride in an ambulance at a given time? And I'll wait to ask my other question.
Sure. So we always have about 2 paramedics in an ambulance. That's a transporting unit. And that's for safety reasons, and you need somebody in the front to drive, somebody in the back to do patient care. Sometimes we'll have a third as well. If somebody is returning to work, doing some extra practice or we have students or something like that, you'll see a third member. Sometimes there's doctors and residents and things like that that ride out as well.
Oh.
So there's a potential you might see 3 in an ambulance, but generally it's 2.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned like obviously someone's driving and someone's doing the care in the back, but do some paramedics have like a specialty in some areas?
So we have 2 designations of paramedics right now that operate in the city, and that's a primary care paramedic and an advanced care paramedic. So at the primary care level, you are getting a true paramedic with all the skills and everything else that comes with it. When you get an advanced care paramedic, they have even more skills, and they can do more advanced airways and needle decompressions and crikes and all kinds of crazy advanced procedures, like bringing an emergency department to your house in a lot of cases. So it's really exciting to see their scope of care and the true professionals that we have in the city. It's pretty amazing.
Right. So if you were to get a call, like say there was a major accident, would you send like some of those advanced?
So it depends.
Yeah.
Depends on the skills required for that call. So our primary care paramedics can actually handle just about everything to a degree. It's when you have something like a collapsed lung that needs to be decompressed. An advanced care paramedic might be called for that for a trauma or some advanced airway management. But the real gem of the advanced care paramedic probably comes more into the breathing problems and the heart problems and the advanced medications they can deliver. So it's those kind of things that really have great outcomes.
Okay, that's so interesting. Okay, so we've heard a lot about high volume calls for paramedics over the past few years. There was a new dispatching system introduced. Can you just explain a bit about how that's helped your team?
Oh, yeah. So medical priority dispatch system. We came from an old system called DPCI-2 and then evolved into this new system where I would say under the old system, we were going out, everything was an emergency. Everything seemed like a lights and sirens emergency. There was no deferring of calls. There was no breaks for paramedics. It was just that call came in and you went rushing to it. With the new system, there's about 5 different levels of things now, and it's color-coded.
Okay.
So you range from a purple, which is our highest priority, to a green, which is the lowest priority. And now things are kind of balanced that way. And with those lower acuity type calls, you can actually delay a response. So paramedics, if it's just something like a sore throat now, you're no longer rushing out as an emergency. You can actually delay that. Paramedics will get their lunch break and then go. Or, you can do a crew swap and change out crews. So it's for quality of life at work for paramedics, it's much, much better. Getting them those built-in breaks, being able to kind of defer some calls so that you can switch out those crews and get people home on time. There's big advantages to that because they're humans. They need to eat. They need their breaks. They need all those rest periods, which they weren't getting before. And it was really hard on our system. It's really hard on the paramedics.
Yeah.
So having that new system in place has been a welcome change. There's still lots of room for improvement with it, though, because every system, nothing's going to be perfect. But we're growing into it. There is opportunity for changes in the system, too. We have review committees that we sit on and things like that. So we can input our changes and submit them to the province, and they can evaluate them and actually implement them. So we can help everybody else in the entire system as well.
Okay, so this new system is that something that all of Ontario does, or it's like a region by region?
No, it's set out by the Ministry of Health. So it's something that's going to be done all across Ontario, and it's actually an international company that has implemented it, and it's probably the most world-renowned system that exists today. So we're actually very lucky to have it, and puts us kind of at the top of the field when it comes to dispatching.
Right. That sounds like that's a big improvement. What other changes or improvements are you most excited about lately?
Oh, there's lots happening. Something that we're trying to get off the ground right now would be a tactical EMS response, or what we call a TEMS team. And that's something to deal with working with the police, helping with their system as well. And it's something that's, for a city our size, is very much needed. We do a lot of co-responses with police, and there's situations where there's potential for violence escalation and things like that. So we want a specialized trained team to help with the police response and really look after both patients in those settings and police officers. If there should be something that happens, we want one of our paramedics trained and ready to go and be part of that team.
Right. And don't you have another team, like a mental health specific
Absolutely,
team? Yeah.
Yes. So the STAR team, our specialized treatment and alternative response team, that's a team that's paramedic paired up with a crisis worker and an Indigenous health associate, and they'll go out and respond to low acuity mental health calls and do everything they can for a patient. So really relieve those paramedic crews from the ambulances, take over care, and get them back out on the road to do those other 911 emergencies while they take over the patient and provide resources that the ambulance might not have had connections to. So it's something that's better for the patients, and it's also better for our system.
Yeah. And obviously, you need specialized people in those scenarios.
Yeah, well, it's the better equipped people to handle the situation. So if we can identify it and we see the rising volumes of mental health and things like that, you need to adapt the change and change to kind of move into the new setting and the new realm of doing business, because that's what's required by our community. It's what people need. So we're just trying to provide any level of that we can.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so what are some challenges when it comes to running SNEMS, both in the city and the district?
Oh, our biggest challenge, I think, is always going to be staffing. It's a very difficult job. It's hard on people. There's turnaround. There's people that go off on long-term leaves. Yeah. So we always feel like we're trying to replace staff. We're trying to replace equipment, resources, and it's continuously changing. And it's like I said, it's a very difficult job. It's very physical. It's also mentally tough. So you need that somebody who's at their 100% coming into work to be able to operate in that kind of space every day. So for us, staffing is always going to be the biggest challenge. At least it is right now. And we're hoping to get to a position where we're well established and have enough staff. But it's been a constant battle ever since I've been in this profession.
Yeah. And I think in other areas too.
It's all across the board. And it's, front-facing jobs seem to be the hardest to fill.
For sure. Yeah, I got that. Okay, so how does EMS work together with both Thunder Bay Fire and the police services?
So we obviously co-respond, and we have tiered response agreements with things like the Thunder Bay Fire Department. So they'll respond to medical emergencies. Sometimes they can get there quicker and provide an intervention, and the paramedics will come and take over care. They'll help us extricate patients, lift, move patients, provide some life skills and care while driving to the hospital potentially if we need somebody to help assist with ventilations, CPR, those kind of things. Fire department, police are always there for us. Police do a very good job of protecting our scenes. They help respond and really provide that support that you're going to need, especially if there's any kind of criminal activity or there's a traffic situation. Many different situations we work hand in hand together, and that's just emergency responders have always been really good like that. So we depend on them, they depend on us, and it's a great collaboration, especially when you see it in motion on scenes.
Yeah. I don't really want to see it in motion, but I trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so outside of saving lives every day, what other programs is your team involved in?
Oh, there's a lot of community activities as well. So we like to participate in any kind of charity events and those kind of things, helping out wherever we can. You'll often see the moose medic around at a lot of family events, picnics and things like that. And that's our mascot. So we have a paramedic usually dressed up in there and he's walking around dressed like the moose. I'm not going to tell you who it is because
don't say.
We don't want to give away the secrets.
Right,
but hopefully you'll see him out in some of the coming events this summer as we roll in and get some time outside. Perhaps you'll see the moose medic out there joining some of these events. We also like to do a lot of school visits and just put the plug in for recruitment, get the bug in there for people to be paramedics and make sure that they know what the job's about early so that they can get some interest in it. But we're willing to participate in anything that comes our way.
Right. Is there something called the PAD program? PAD?
So public access defibrillators, and that's a program that's been longstanding for a while now. And what it was we received some funding to get some public access defibrillators set up in a bunch of facilities. So that goes across our entire district. We have, those life-saving devices kind of planted all over the place and hopefully some good signage so you know where it is. So in the case of an emergency, you have a quick device that you can access to actually help bring somebody's heart back into a beatable rhythm.
Right.
And I think that's super important, especially when seconds matter. And having those devices close by is very important. So we want to participate in that and make sure everybody has the thing they need. We provide a little bit of service for getting those things like fresh pads and things like that. So the little pieces of maintenance that you might need for it.
Right. Yeah, those are very important. Okay, so you mentioned recruiting. What is the process of becoming a paramedic, and what is your recruiting process?
So first of all, you have to apply to a college. You have to be accepted into the program. You have to complete, right now it's 2 years, could be shifting to a 3-year program.
Okay.
So it's a diploma right now, but it might be shifting to a degree.
Okay.
And then once you have graduated from your paramedic program, you can apply to our service. So we run our biggest recruitment in the springtime, and you just apply like any other city job. You go onto the website and apply, and we go through our process. We'll vet people, make sure they have the proper qualifications. We just switched to an interview process called an MMI, or multi-mini interview system, and so we just got through about 40 interviews in one day, which was really remarkable. We've never done anything like that before. So it's pretty labor intensive for that one day. You have a lot of stations set up, and people come through and interview for about 5 minutes at a time with every different station that has a different question. But it really gives you a chance to give somebody an entire spectrum of things to answer, and it's more personality based, and we can really judge the fit on how they're going to be with our organization. And it was remarkable to see, because then I got to see and give my own question in those interview processes to every potential recruit that was coming through. Right. So for me, it was valuable. I got to meet and see everybody, even though we're not allowed to give names or tell anybody who we are. But it's still is a very cool process to see, and you get to see everybody in person. So it was something I think we're going to continue with, and it was big success for us this year.
Nice. So you're in the process right now for like the big recruitment
Absolutely.
process right now. Yeah.
So once we go through that, we select everybody that we can, and then we'll bring them onboarding. So you have about 3-4 weeks of onboarding where you do multiple levels of training and things like that just to get ready, get your uniforms, and then we'll get you set up with some orientation shifts. So you get your get out into an ambulance, actually see you. Probably that's when you're riding that third. And we'll get people a little bit of experience that way until they're ready, and then we get them into full-fledged paramedics responding to calls.
Yeah. Okay. Exciting. Good luck to those applying.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So what are some of the misconceptions that you deal with when it comes to like your operations and the public?
So there's a few. Sometimes it's something simple as like people thinking that we operate transfer services as well and things like that. So when it comes to my end and the management side, we'll often get like complaints that actually have us to do with a service that has nothing to do with us. Yeah. So that's one piece of it. Another misconception might be that we're just have like an ambulance driver. And that's one that I think bothers a lot of paramedics, because they went to school for a long time to learn a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge. And they're like really true professionals that deliver a lot of care, advanced care on scenes. So I would love the public to know that they are, when you call 911, you're getting a true paramedic on scene. Yeah. They're a real professional, a medical professional that's going to be helping you in that situation. Yes. The other thing is, a misconception might be is not everything's an emergency. So when you're calling 911, that goes through the MPDS system. It gets triaged. And depending on what you say to the dispatcher and what your complaints are, it may not be a lights and sirens emergency that we're responding to. So sometimes people are like, hey, how come you didn't show up with your lights and sirens on? And not every response is going to get that. And there's a number of reasons. We don't often respond with lights and sirens for safety concerns and things like that, because sometimes it can startle the public, especially at night when the streets are empty. Right. We don't want to wake the whole neighborhood up. We don't want everybody looking to see what's going on at that scene. We want to keep things a little bit confidential and private for people who are calling the ambulance. If they're in distress, we don't want to alert the whole world that we're there. So we run a little bit stealth sometimes, and we may be in and out of your neighborhood without you ever knowing. Right. And that's not something that all the other responders do. So it's we have a little bit of discretion when it comes to operating with lights and sirens and things like that.
That's a really good point. So we did talk a bit about mental health and the like work-life balance for your team. So obviously your team often meets people on some of their toughest days, but what are some of the kinds of supports in place to help them take care of their own mental health?
Well, this is something I'm really proud of, actually, for our service. I think we've have one of the most robust mental health systems to look after our paramedics. I mean, these are the people that are looking after the public every day, and we need to support them as well. So we have a dedicated team of clinical psychologists with NWO psychology that help our paramedics. You can get into an appointment like same day, next day sometimes. It's really rapid access. They're doing a great job helping our paramedics and just providing them that definitive care. And they can even connect you to more resources after. But on top of that, we have our own internal people. Like we have a wellness committee. We have a peer support and wellness coordinator. That's a full-time position. That is a paramedic who understands what the paramedics are going through and their challenges. And they can help them navigate the system and coordinate services and just give them some reassurance. Sometimes it's just somebody you need to talk to and that person's there and available. Our management team's always available for paramedics. We have even policies built in where we have checks and balances. So if we see something that's like a critical incident, we have a checklist that we go through to make sure that those paramedics are looked after and getting the supports they need. And we're checking all those items that may be beneficial to them in the moment. And the city helps too. They throw in another $2,000 worth of mental health benefits for full-timers and all those little things. Little things like the support dogs coming through twice a week and just coming through the headquarters building and meeting with paramedics and just grounding them a little bit. I think it's another little benefit that we do around the workplace to try and keep mental health as positive as we can. Right.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that this wasn't a focus 20 years ago.
It's
really,
come a
long way.
Yeah, it's really changed. And it's, it took a lot of work. We had to reduce that stigma and a lot of things that were built up around it. And even when I started in this career, I think that stigma was very much there. So now that we're breaking down those barriers and working towards it, I think it's very much on the forefront and we're talking about it a lot. And it just gives us the tools to be able to provide those services back to the paramedics when we know what they need.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so is there anything else you want to share that maybe we didn't cover today?
I think the biggest thing is just giving a shout out to those paramedics that are out there doing the work every day. They're remarkable people that do a really tough job, and I think we need to support them the best we can. And I just want the public to know that they're there when you need them. They are the people that you can rely on, and I think it's a really trusted profession. They're really great people. Everyone has got into this job because they care, and I just want to say a big thank you to them because that it really means a lot to everybody, the work that they do, and I think it's a very important job. So thank you to all those paramedics out there serving our community and doing that great job every day. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what we would do without them. It wouldn't be good. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, like you said, thanks so much to the team, your team and you for keeping our community healthy and safe. And thanks for coming to chat with me today.
Thanks so much, Amy. It's a pleasure.
That's it for this week's episode of The Minutes. A big thanks to Shane Muir, Chief of Superior North EMS, for joining us today. And as always, thanks for tuning in. If you want more information about City Council, agendas, or minutes, visit thunderbay.ca/council. And if you want to listen to past episodes, visit thunderbay.ca/theminutes. You can find The Minutes wherever you get your podcasts, as well as the city website and our YouTube channel. If you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening at City Hall, hit that subscribe button. I'm Amy. Thanks again for listening to The Minutes, and have a great week.